The blood flowing through every vein is not an inert liquid. It is your most vital river, a sacred current carrying life, intelligence, and power that few ever recognize. Each heartbeat pushes the blood forward, carrying oxygen, nutrients, nerve signals, and sweeping away cellular waste. But above all, it carries something deeper. It carries the message you send to it. No school teaches this. Yet deep within, the body understands your language. Every cell listens to the vibrations of your words and thoughts. When you utter, "I am tired," the body does not take it as a casual remark. It accepts it as an instruction. When you affirm, "I am full of vitality," the blood reacts as if an order has been issued, and immediately reorganizes its rhythm within to respond. This is not an empty metaphor. This is how life has functioned since you were formed in your mother's womb. Your body is like a kingdom, and you are the sovereign ruler. The blood is the loyal messenger traveling throughout the territory, delivering news, transmitting commands, keeping everything in motion. You do not need to comprehend all the complex biological mechanisms, the heart pumping blood, the liver filtering, the kidneys purifying, the immune cells patrolling, but you must understand the power of the position you occupy. In every moment, you are issuing decrees to your kingdom through thought, word, and emotion. Every sentence spoken can uplift or weaken. The body does not distinguish between joking and serious. It receives everything as living truth, and blood is the channel that transports these decrees to every single cell. Imagine your bloodstream as a river of light flowing from the heart throughout the body. That river reflects precisely the quality of its source, your mind. When the source is pure, the flow is strong, carrying vitality to every part. When the source is clouded with fear, anger, or doubt, the river carries those fragments, seeping into the tiniest capillaries. You cannot pour toxins into the spring and expect the river to reach the estuary still clear. Consciousness works in the same way. The power you hold is not an arcane secret, but an inner law. Your subconscious is the executor of that law. It does not object. It does not negotiate. It follows exactly the instructions it receives, especially those repeated often and infused with emotion. When you recognize this, you begin to see a startling truth. You are not merely a passenger in your body. You are the one at the helm. Every word, every thought is a slight turn of the wheel steering the vessel. Modern science has shown that emotions and thoughts influence the chemistry of the blood. Fear releases hormones that constrict vessels and increase heart rate. Love, gratitude, and peace release substances that promote healing, enhance immunity, and relax blood vessels. Blood does not merely carry nutrients, but also delivers the climate of your inner world to every cell. This is why within the same body, two people living in different states of mind will have entirely different health outcomes. You can step into this seat of power right now. You do not need to wait for a miracle from outside, nor any secret substance. Your very words are the scepter. When you say, "My blood flows strong, pure, in divine order," you are issuing a command. The subconscious hears and immediately adjusts the inner processes to match the picture you have painted. But this works only when you speak as a king issuing decrees, not as a beggar pleading. Not, "Please make my blood healthy," but "My blood is healthy, strong, and flowing in sacred harmony right now." Remember, words must be accompanied by image and emotion. Visualize your blood as a golden river, each drop a spark of life. Feel the warmth and energy spreading as you affirm. In that moment, you are not merely repeating a mantra. You are giving a command with heat and weight that imprints itself upon the subconscious. That is the only way for the river to obey and transform. The body has already been programmed for perfection. The original blueprint of harmony was imprinted in the subconscious the moment you were formed. What has been lost is not the design, but conscious connection to it. Each time you issue a command with clarity and faith, you are re-establishing the line of communication with that design. And once the connection is restored, all the inner systems automatically reorganize into balance, like a city restoring its power grid according to its original plan. Do not underestimate the power of everyday words. Every complaint about health, every remark about fatigue, is a command the subconscious will carry out, even if it harms you. Yet with that very same power, you can reverse the process, shift from weakening decrees to restorative ones. Even a gentle sentence can become the first spark of renewal. And like any skill, the more you practice, the faster the body responds. Stand tall with dignity. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Relax your shoulders. When you are ready, speak slowly, in the present tense. My blood is pure, strong, flowing in divine order. Not as a plea, not as a hope, but as a proclamation. As you speak, envision the blood glowing, flowing freely through every vessel, carrying vitality and balance. Let every sentence be like a drumbeat aligned with your heartbeat. In that moment, you are not merely speaking to the blood, you are speaking to the very rhythm of life within you. The bloodstream is not silent. It listens, it responds. It works quietly like a loyal army, executing every decree you give. If that decree is fear, the body tightens. If the decree is vitality, the body opens. If the decree is peace, the body relaxes, heals, and renews. This is not a new idea. It is the ancient principle already spoken of in the Bible. Life is in the blood. Now you understand, it is not merely biology, but the very law by which life operates. From this day forward, let every word you speak be a command of health and order. Let every thought you think become a nourishing vision, and let your faithful bloodstream carry those decrees throughout your body, fulfilling the restoration you have commanded. When this becomes a habit, you will no longer feel as though you are practicing. You will speak those words as naturally as describing what already is. And your body with its blood that is never silent will take care of the rest. There is a law lying deep within every human being, needing no decree, no learning, and never changing with time. It operates silently yet ceaselessly, as precise as gravity and as absolute as the sunrise. It is the inner command law, the principle, that allows you to issue orders to the body through thought and word and see it obey. Not through vague belief, not through aimless prayer, but through the power etched into the structure of the subconscious, the loyal servant that never rests. Everyone is applying this law, whether aware of it or not. Every statement about health, every assessment of emotion, every habitual thought each day is a command being recorded. The subconscious does not judge whether you truly believe it, nor does it check whether the order is wise. It simply carries it out. When you say, "I fall ill easily," the body begins to act as if that were true. When you say, "I am recovering day by day," the subconscious also records that and reorganizes internal physiology to make it real. The important point is not whether this law exists, it does, but whether you are using it in the right direction or unintentionally misusing it against yourself. Those who do not know of the inner command law still employ it, just as someone who knows nothing about electricity still gets shocked when touching a bare wire. This is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Because once you realize that every word you speak is treated as an official command, you will no longer speak carelessly about your body. The subconscious is neutral ground. It does not argue, it does not refute, it does not question. It accepts everything you repeat, especially when delivered with emotion. Picture the subconscious as a sophisticated 3D printer, printing biological reality based on the blueprint you feed it. The clearer the command, the more emotional, the more repeated, the more precise the product. If you send in blueprints that are blurry, contradictory, or full of negativity, then the result printed will also be chaotic and imbalanced. There is no such thing as an accidental slip of the tongue when speaking about your body. Every complaint, every self-deprecating remark, every retelling of a symptom with emotional emphasis is an official stamp. You are issuing orders without realizing it. But the encouraging truth is this: the very moment you recognize you are issuing orders, you regain authority. And it does not take long to reverse. All it requires is one clear command, spoken with faith and presence, to reset the entire internal course. Do not think this is illusion or some metaphysical abstraction. Neuroscience has shown that language and inner imagery strongly affect the parts of the brain that govern automatic functions. Imagination alone can make the heart race, the hands grow cold, the mouth dry merely from a thought. And if one thought can do that in seconds, imagine the power of commands repeated every day. The reason many people do not see results is because they speak one positive statement in a morning ritual, but all day long repeat the opposite. They say, "I am healthy," while meditating, but complain of fatigue all afternoon. They declare, "My blood is recovering," but recount their illness in every conversation. And the subconscious, like a machine that takes orders without discrimination, only carries out whichever order is most emphasized, most repeated, most emotionally charged. You do not need to become an artificial optimist. You only need to become conscious. When you say, "My blood is circulating in perfect order," let that sentence be accompanied by a vivid image, a warm stream of light flowing evenly through each organ, bringing life. Say it as though you are witnessing it, not as though you are hoping for it. And afterward, do not contradict it with careless words. The inner command law is like a conductor leading the symphony of physiology. Your words are the baton. Every directive you give will be distributed by the subconscious to the sections inside: circulatory, respiratory, digestive, immune. Every biological process in the body is a musician, and they never miss a beat if you conduct clearly. And remember, emotion is the accelerant. The sentence, "I am well," said indifferently, is not equal to, "I feel every cell coming alive," spoken with a heart that trembles. Emotion creates heat. Heat creates imprint. It is not about repeating enough times, but about speaking with enough life. The subconscious does not need long to respond. It only needs one clear signal, sustained. When you say, "My blood flows in divine order," you are not merely producing sound. You are transmitting an operating diagram. And the subconscious, tireless, unwavering, will begin translating that diagram into adjustments of heartbeat, blood pressure, body temperature, and healing capacity. It works with the same precision as the rising Sunday. Therefore, from this moment, regard every word spoken about your body as a decree. Speak less but deeper. Speak with imagery. Speak with rhythm. And speak with certainty. As you practice this each day, it will no longer be a conscious effort. It will become your default voice, the voice that commands life. Every time you catch yourself speaking the opposite, do not let it slip by in silence. Correct it immediately. For example, if you happen to say, "I feel weaker," stop it with, "No, the truth is I am recovering. My blood is carrying vitality to every cell." Correcting in the moment is how you train the subconscious to distinguish true orders from false ones. And over time, the body will respond only to clear, positive commands aligned with the original blueprint of divine order. This is the very key humanity has misplaced for centuries. You do not need to heal illness. You need to issue the right command to allow restoration to occur. Every cell is waiting for you. Every stream of blood is ready. The only remaining question is, what command will you issue today? There is nothing ordinary about words. Beneath the seemingly simple shell of sound, words are streams of energy taking form. They are not only tools of communication, but also tools of creation. Words do not merely connect you with the outer world. They are commands issued from the inner center, reaching deep into the subconscious, the one who acts like an invisible worker, receiving the blueprint and silently constructing the physical world around you, beginning from within your very body. Every time you utter a sentence, you are striking a hammer against the material of life. What few people realize is this: the material is soft as wax to the subconscious, and only words heated by emotion carry enough fire to carve a clear shape into it. When you say, "I am always tired," you are handing the invisible worker a detailed blueprint of exhaustion. When you say, "I am healthy, fresh, and full of vitality," you are laying before him the sketch of a body in renewal, and he begins to build, without hesitation, without verification, without asking why. The subconscious does not understand metaphor. It does not listen with reason. It does not laugh when you joke, nor does it ignore the words you think are harmless. It records everything you repeat, especially words accompanied by imagery and emotion. A simple statement like, "My blood is always weak," repeated enough times with enough feeling, becomes an operational physiological program. The statement, "My blood is being fully restored," if spoken rightly, with the right tone and genuine feeling, will likewise be received as the order to begin repair. The wonder lies here. Words do not only describe reality, they can restructure it. A sentence spoken with full awareness can initiate healing at the cellular level. The reason is that the subconscious is the one controlling all automatic processes: blood circulation, heartbeat, immunity, tissue regeneration, enzyme activity, hormonal balance. You do not need to know how to improve blood flow. You only need to issue the right command. The rest, the invisible worker will take care of. Imagine yourself standing on a high platform, and below you are millions of tireless workers. They are waiting for instructions. Every word you speak is a signal sent down into the system. Adjust here, repair there, accelerate in this place, soothe in that. If you remain silent, they continue running the old program. If you speak wrongly, they still carry it out without objection. But if you speak rightly, clearly, strongly, with trust, then the entire factory within will be reprogrammed to begin a new rhythm. This does not mean that you can say one positive sentence and simply wait for results. It requires that you understand the art of words. First, words must be in the present tense. The subconscious does not respond to the future. Do not say, "I will be healthy," but say, "I am healthy. My blood is circulating powerfully." The present is the only language the invisible worker understands. Second, words must be accompanied by a synchronized emotional state. Saying, "I am well," with a weary voice and anxious face, is no different than sending a contradictory signal. You do not need to appear excited, but you must feel what you say as something happening now. That is the clearest way to communicate with the subconscious. Third, words need inner imagery. When you say, "My blood is glowing and flowing through my body like a river of light," that image is the vivid blueprint the invisible worker can read. The body does not respond to abstract concepts. It responds to pictures. Use images that are simple yet distinct. Repeat that image in your mind as you affirm with words. In this way, you are imprinting a map into the depths of the mind. Do not worry if at first you do not believe completely. Words are the guide. Belief will follow. What matters is consistency. The subconscious does not require you to believe absolutely at once. It only requires that you not break the command midway. Persistence is the sign that you are serious, and when you are consistent, the subconscious will respond accordingly. It always does. Many people wonder why their bodies remain stagnant, even though they have tried to think positively. The answer is this: they have not truly issued commands. They have only hoped. But hope is not an order. Pleading is not architecture. Expectation is not a blueprint. Only when you speak as one in control, speak as one possessing power, will the subconscious accept it as an official design. The invisible worker within you does not need you to understand biomedical principles. He only needs clear instructions. A slowing blood flow will be directed to quicken. A region of pain will be informed to ease. A disordered organ will be commanded to restore itself according to divine order. Every word you say is a drawing being handed over. The question is, what drawing are you giving that worker? If today you begin to issue new commands, commands of light, of strength, of harmony, then the work of restoration begins that very day. Not tomorrow, not next week, but the very moment you speak as though it is happening. And it does begin happening, because the subconscious does not wait to verify. It acts at once. From now on, see every sentence you speak as a tool of construction. Speak as though you are assigning tasks to the entire living system, and believe that behind the veil of awareness, there is a worker laboring over every cell, every vessel, every heartbeat, exactly according to the orders you have issued. Words are magic, but only when you know that you are the one casting the spell, and the invisible worker, loyal, silent, tireless, is waiting for the next command from you right now. The body is not a random machine. It is not a chaotic collection of tissues, muscles, blood, and bones. The body is a living kingdom. Each cell is a subject. Each organ is a province. Each flowing stream of blood is a messenger carrying decrees from the center to the borders. The question is, who is ruling? Who holds the power to issue decrees? And what are those decrees written with? The answer lies right where you are thinking. You are the ruler, not in a symbolic sense, but in the most profound biological and metaphysical sense. Every word you speak, every line of thought you hold in your mind, is a directive from the throne, and the body, like a loyal kingdom, always seeks to carry it out. When you say, "I am aging too fast," that is not an observation, that is an edict. When you say, "I am recovering stronger each day," the body does not protest, it listens, and it acts. You do not need a physical throne to be king. You are already seated on the throne of consciousness, and your scepter, the instrument that commands the entire kingdom, is your word. Not a single word is meaningless. Not a single sentence is ignored. The body cannot distinguish jest from sincerity. It does not filter humor out of a decree. It only knows how to listen and obey. So imagine yourself as a true king. You would not issue commands carelessly. You would not proclaim a wise order and then negate it with a careless remark. You would not declare, "I want peace," and then immediately send the army to war. Yet that is exactly what many people do each day with their bodies. They declare, "I am healing," and then complain, "I never feel any better." A kingdom cannot function when its king is contradictory. Neither can the body. The scepter of words does not require force to exert power. It requires clarity and seriousness. When you issue a command with words, you are ringing a bell throughout the entire physiological and energetic system. That command is transmitted into the circulatory, nervous, and immune systems. Each organ listens, each cell records, each drop of blood delivers. The body does not merely hear with ears, it hears with frequency, with intent, with the emotional state accompanying the words. The more aware you are of your ruling position, the more you know how to issue the right orders. A king does not speak vaguely. A leader does not give half-formed orders. Every sentence must become a clear decree, executable in nature. "I want to be healthy" is a wish. "I am healthy. My blood flows strong and pure in divine order" is an edict. And that is what the subconscious needs. The body does not require you to understand anatomical details. It only requires you to master the role of commander. You do not need to know how blood is filtered in the kidneys or how the immune system distinguishes a virus. But you must know that if you issue the command, every cell is being cleansed and renewed. The inner system will begin to respond accordingly. The body does not need you to hold the map. It needs you to set direction with words. The wonder lies in this. This kingdom does not oppose you. It has no rebellion. It has only loyalty. If you issue negative commands, it obeys. If you issue commands of healing, it also obeys. Every imbalance does not come from the body. Imbalance comes from an unclear throne. When the king is uncertain, the soldiers are confused. When the ruler changes orders each hour, the kingdom falls into disorder. Look again at how you speak about your body. Each day, what are you decreeing? What sentences are you declaring before others and within your private mind? Every "I am weak," "I am less," "I cannot recover" is a self-destructive edict, and you can correct it immediately. No complex ritual is required, only a change of decree with new words, full of power and clear direction. You can choose to begin each day as a king awakened. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and decree, "Today, my blood flows in perfect order. My body operates under the light of divine spirit. Every organ performs its function. Every cell is alive and awake." That is not a speech. That is orientation. And the body, the loyal kingdom, will carry out that order with your very life. No one but you has the authority to issue decrees in this kingdom. Not doctors, not relatives, not the past, nor diagnoses. All are merely references. Only the words you repeat daily with faith and presence have the authority to manifest into biological reality. You are the sole ruler, and that means you hold the power to restore order wherever you have once let it slip. Even if you have issued wrong commands, even if you have weakened the body with unwise words, it does not matter. A true king does not dwell in regret. A true king issues new decrees to restore the land, and you can do that right now. No need to wait for inspiration. No need for surging emotions. Only one declaration from your center. From this moment, every word I speak to the body is a command of restoration, a decree of life, the voice of guiding light. And then you listen, not to feedback from outside, but to the change within. Perhaps the heartbeat becomes lighter. Perhaps the breath grows a little deeper. Perhaps a warmth seeps into your hands. your chest, your crown. That is the sign. The kingdom has begun to receive new orders, and the invisible worker is restarting the engine of divine spirit. From this moment on, you are no longer a passive passenger. You are the ruler. The body is the kingdom entrusted to you, and words are the scepter you have always held, only you had not realized how powerful it was. But now you know, and from the instant you begin to wield it rightly, you will see that kingdom restores itself faster than any therapy you ever believed in. Every word, every thought, from this day forward, is a creative decree, and the body, the kingdom that listens, will faithfully obey in every heartbeat, every drop of blood, every breath filled with the living light. Picture within your body a river, not a river of water, but a river of life, a river flowing without rest, passing through every realm of the inner kingdom, reaching every hidden corner, nourishing each cell, washing away the remnants of the old. That river is your blood, not merely a red fluid, but a sacred current of light carrying living decrees to the smallest units of your being. But no river flows without a source. Every river has a spring, and for your blood, that spring is thought. Every thought you think, every image you imagine, every belief you hold in your heart, these are like streams of water pouring from the heights, deciding the clarity, the strength, and the direction of the river of your bloodstream. When thought is clear, the blood carries light. When thought is astray, the blood also grows murky. You cannot have a healthy body if the spring of thought is polluting the blood with fear, anger, jealousy, or doubt. Blood has no filter separate from you. It cannot detach itself from emotion. It mirrors exactly the climate of the inner world. Remember this: you are not only what you eat, you are also what you think, and in the deepest sense, your blood is carrying what you are thinking. It is time you cease to see blood as something foreign, inert, measured only by laboratory tests. Blood does not only contain hemoglobin, white cells, or antibodies. It also carries the invisible dispatches you have sent from your mind every day, every hour, every unconscious moment. And where do those dispatches go? They go to your heart, your liver, your lungs, your brain, your joints, your skin, your bones, your nerves. There is no place the river does not pass. Therefore, if you desire to restore health, you cannot act only at the level of the body. You must return to the beginning, the spring of thought. That is where you adjust the color, the purity, and the rhythm of the whole system. By changing what you think about yourself, about your body, you are directly altering the composition and quality of the blood, not as a metaphor, but in precise biological reality. Think of a thought as a drop of ink falling into the spring. However small, it spreads. If that thought is a positive command, every cell in me is receiving light, then the next flow will carry that message onward. But if you repeat thoughts such as, I am weak, I do not have strength, I fear the worst, then that drop of ink will stain the entire river. The wonder is this: the spring can always be made clear again. All it requires is that you change thought. You do not need to wrestle with each symptom separately. You only need to return to the source and begin pouring into it light, gratitude, faith, and new images. The body will listen, the blood will adjust, the self-healing systems will awaken. And you do not need to understand the details of the process, just as the one who drinks water does not need to know chemistry, only that you change what you are pouring into the spring. Thought is not just a fleeting idea. It is the inner current repeated over and over. It is what you believe to be true. And blood does not distinguish true from false by intellectual definition. It only acts upon what you hold longest and strongest. Recall, when you fall into deep anxiety, your heart races, your vessels tighten, your skin grows cold, yet you have not moved. A single line of thought is enough to shift the entire inner river. That is the evidence. From today, you can begin to see your blood with new eyes, no longer as a biological substance, but as light with intelligence. And you are the one who decides what message that light carries. You can say, my blood is flowing with powerful life, like a river of light irrigating my whole body. That sentence, repeated with vivid imagery, will gradually transform the speed, the nature, and the impact of the bloodstream. You do not need to imagine extravagantly. Picture simply a current of light flowing from the heart, reaching every finger, every cell, every nerve fiber, each drop carrying a command: restore, renew, harmonize, illuminate. When you combine word with image and speak it in presence, you are doing what both science and spirit call programming biology with thought. The river of light within does not need your effort to flow. It has been flowing since you were born. But the quality of the river always depends on the keeper of the spring. If you let the source be polluted, you will see the results in the skin, the heart, the breath. If you begin to purify it with clear thoughts, ordered words, nourishing images, you will see the blood begin to change, and with it, the whole body will change. You need not repair each place separately. You only need to correct the place of origin. For blood is the central system of distribution. It leaves nothing untouched. And so, if you change the message within the blood, you are changing everything from the wounded cell to the unprocessed emotion. Stand in the position of the keeper of the spring. Each morning, each evening, sit in stillness and quietly decree, "My blood is a river of light. Every drop carries harmony, renewal, and wisdom. I am the spring of that light, and I choose to pour into it the right thoughts, the words of direction, the images of healing." Your thought is not a reflex. It is a tool of creation, and you are the one who decides which way it flows. When you choose the right thought, the blood will carry the right light. When you hold the right image, the blood will hold the message of healing. When you issue the command through words, the blood will deliver that command to where it is most needed. From today, you are no longer a mere observer of the blood. You are the keeper of the spring, and you can decide that from this very moment, every drop flowing from your heart is light, carrying out the divine order of life. No word truly creates if it lacks fire, and that fire does not lie in volume, nor come from shouting, but from emotion. For emotion is heat, the living energy that both body and subconscious can perceive. A word without emotion is like a command that no one really hears. It drifts by like a faint breeze, leaving no imprint on the cells, on the blood, on the inner current of life. The reason many fail when declaring positive affirmations does not lie in the words themselves, but in the lack of heat within them. They repeat sentences mechanically, without fire, without faith, without presence, and so the blood does not listen, the cells do not stir, and the nervous system does not respond. For the body requires not just a command, but a command with fire. Imagine a smelting furnace. If the fire is not hot enough, the metal does not change shape. If the emotion you give to words does not carry sufficient heat, then the idea cannot pierce through the frozen layers of the subconscious hardened by habit, doubt, or past wounds. You could repeat 1,000 times, "I am healthy, I am healed." But if within you there is fear, doubt, or forced effort, then those words are only cold echoes, incapable of sinking in. By contrast, a single simple sentence ignited by genuine emotion can alter biological structure. When you say, "I forgive and I am released," and truly feel forgiveness, your heart rhythm changes. The blood carries the message of relief, the brain releases new chemicals, and the entire body shifts with the wave of healing. For at that moment, the word has been engraved into the bloodstream by fire. Emotion is not merely a seasoning for words, it is the living fuel. Without emotion, words are only sound. With emotion, words become magic. But what kind of emotion? Not chaotic feeling, not fleeting agitation. Rather, the kind of emotion with direction, emotion tempered, illuminated by awareness, chosen to serve the shaping of a new reality. This means you must master emotion, not be dragged by it. When you choose to infuse your words with love, gratitude, trust, and resolve, you are transmitting into your blood messages with high biological voltage. The cells, tissues, and organs receive those frequencies. They do not need to understand linguistic meaning, but they perceive intensity. Like music, you may not understand the lyrics, yet still be moved by the tone. Cells are the same. Blood is the same. They do not react to grammar, but to the temperature of vibration within the words you utter. That is why those who pray with a burning heart often experience miraculous restoration, and those who recite daily affirmations without soul see no change at all. You cannot deceive emotion, but you can awaken it by recalling a corresponding state. Close your eyes and think of a moment when you felt deep gratitude when someone rescued you, when you escaped danger, or when you witnessed a miracle. That feeling, once awakened, will heat your words, and if you issue a command of healing at that moment, it will sink into the bloodstream like fire melting gold. Imagine yourself saying, "Every cell within me is shining. I am the embodiment of perfect life." If you say this with genuine emotion, with unwavering trust, and let the words blend with your breath, with your heartbeat, then every stream of blood will seem lifted, awakened, and the wounded regions of your body will begin to vibrate in harmony with healing. This is not mystical. It is the science of synchronization. When a strong emotion accompanies a repeated thought, the nervous system records it as a real event, and from there, every biological system begins to operate according to the new program. You are the programmer of your own life. But the programming language is not only letters, it is the fire within the letters. Therefore, do not issue words when you are cold, indifferent, or dragged by fatigue. Take a few moments first to light the fire within you. Sometimes just a few deep breaths, a memory of peace, or a light in the mind enough to awaken inner heat. Then, when you speak as if those words were the only arrow you hold, and the target is your very life. Speak as though every syllable were to be written with your blood upon your body, for truly it is so. From today, do not speak merely to comfort, speak to create. And to do so, remember this immutable law. Emotion is fire, and words need fire to be engraved into the bloodstream. Without fire, there is no magic. But when the fire is strong enough, the blood will listen, the cells will stir, the whole body will rise and follow the call of new life. This is the power you have always had. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it away. Only when you dare to feel what you are saying will your entire body become a choir of healing beginning from the heart, flowing into the bloodstream, reaching to the fingertips. And from there, your world itself will gradually shift, according to the only language the universe truly listens to, words ablaze with genuine emotion. No recovery truly begins until faith is present. Every theory, no matter how profound, every philosophy, no matter how elevated, remains only a dead symbol if not brought into practice with living belief. And the starting point of that practice is a sentence, an affirmation spoken not merely from the mouth, but from a deeper center where choice and faith meet. Imagine you step into a dark room. Theory may say that light exists beyond the switch, but until you reach out and press it, darkness rules. Faith is the same. It is not an abstract declaration. It is a concrete act, and in this case, the act is to utter a sentence full of trust, as if what you long for has already begun to unfold. There are people who, year after year, seek healing, read hundreds of books, listen to thousands of lectures, yet have never once truly spoken a sentence of trust to their own body. They live like one learning to swim but never stepping into the water. The reason is not that they do not know enough, but that they have not ignited the process with an inner command. No word has been spoken as a guiding signal, and so all potential lies dormant. Recovery does not begin with medicine. It does not begin with machines. It begins with a small movement in consciousness, a sentence that chooses trust, even while chaos remains outside, even while the body is still in pain, even while the mind still doubts. That sentence is the bell of departure. It is the signal sent to the blood, the nerves, the immune system, the organs, declaring, "We are entering a new current. Listen to the order." No elaborate ritual is needed, no long speech, only a single sentence. And that sentence must carry your heartbeat, must contain within it the decisive choice. I will recover. I am recovering. I have recovered. It need not be visible immediately, but it must be spoken as though it is happening now. For that is how the subconscious functions. It does not require proof. It responds to the pattern repeated with emotion. If you say, "I am being healed," and let that sentence seep into every moment of the day, into each breath, each pause, whether in stillness or in movement, you are building a field of consciousness around the body, a field of vibration enveloping each cell, a signal repeating itself to the weary parts, reminding them that they are not forgotten, not abandoned, but summoned back to wholeness. It all begins with you deliberately choosing a sentence and bringing it into lived reality, not as a magic spell outside of you, but as a current you send through each action, each breath. Speak it when you rise, when you look in the mirror, when you walk, when you feel pain, or when you are weary. And speak not to persuade someone out there, but to activate the intelligence within yourself. The simpler the sentence, the stronger it is. No need for grandeur, only truth. For example, I am being reborn from within, or life is restoring itself in me right now. Each time you repeat it, remember, you are not giving a speech, you are sending a signal, and the blood will listen, the cells will pause, the nervous system will begin to recalibrate, and recovery will ignite, like fire catching straw. But one thing must be clear: effectiveness does not come from mechanical repetition, but from repetition with presence. Each time you speak the sentence, let it be as though for the first time, as though your whole body is hearing it for the first time, as though every cell is a child just called by name with love. That presence generates biological voltage, something even machines can record. The heartbeat shifting, the breath steadying, neurotransmitters rebalancing, and all of it begins with a sentence. From theory to practice there is no long distance. That distance is only a decision, and that decision lies in the moment you choose to speak a sentence of trust with all your heart. Do not wait for proof. Let your very words create the proof. Do not wait for something outside to change. Let what is inside lead the entire process. And if you still doubt, begin with that very truth. Though I still doubt, I choose healing. That too is a sentence of power, for it is the bridge between uncertainty and faith. And once you step upon the bridge, you are no longer standing still. You are moving toward the light. Recovery does not demand absolute faith from the beginning. It requires an honest, determined sentence. And when you sustain that sentence long enough, with enough fire of emotion, it will become the new framework of the body. The sentence will become blood. The sentence will become heartbeat. The sentence will become the new skeleton of a life restored. Do not wait for inspiration. Do not wait for pain to end. Do not wait for peace. Speak in the very midst of the storm. For that is how you plant a flag at the center of chaos and proclaim, I am in command. I am beginning. I am re-establishing the divine order. Only one sentence is needed. One sentence true enough, clear enough, fiery enough, and you will witness the miracle unfolding not from anywhere else, but from within yourself. There is a truth many forget. The body never holds on to anything unless it is commanded to, and blood, the river carrying life, is always ready to renew itself if it receives clear instruction from the central mind. Words, in this case, are not mere expression, but instruments of purification. A stream of water may be murky, but once a new source is directed into it, the whole will be transformed. In the same way, words spoken from a purified consciousness are the primal spring capable of cleansing every cell, every drop of blood, every distorted signal accumulated in the body. Blood does not pollute itself. It is affected by what we take into the body. Yes, but more than that, it is governed by what we hold in the mind. Every unexpressed anger, every resentment left unresolved, every negative belief repeated silently, all of these leave traces. And the first place those traces are felt is in the blood. Yet if blood can be clouded by unspoken words, it can also be purified by words spoken with full awareness. That is why words of cleansing hold such special power. When you sincerely declare, "The blood within me is pure, strong, and full of divine light," you are not speaking idly. You are sending a signal to the immune system, to the bone marrow, to the metabolic enzymes, that every distorted program must be dismantled. And the wonder is, they will obey. For the body does not oppose the commander. The only issue is that most of the time, the commander is silent, distracted, or issuing chaotic orders. One person says they are weak. Another says they are chronically ill. Another repeats, "I am difficult to heal." These words, thought harmless, become commands sustaining disorder. The blood merely follows. The organs merely follow. And in the end, the body functions as a perfect replica of those false declarations. If you want your blood as clear as the morning light, begin with a command of purification. It need not be elaborate. It need only be true. Say, I wash every distorted signal from my blood. I return my blood to the original state set by the divine. I choose light to flow in my veins. Do not worry if at first you feel nothing. Do not be surprised if the old mind tries to mock what you are doing. Continue, for the blood will listen, the cells will respond, and purification will begin. Just like a dirty glass, simply by running clean water through it continuously, all residue will be washed away. But the water must be pure, and it must be poured consistently. Words of cleansing are the same. They must come from a purified state, not mixed with anger, not forced. They must be spoken with the intent to heal, not as mere rehearsal. And they must be repeated not to persuade God, but to reprogram the inner self, which has for too long lived in distorted belief. There are old wounds not in the flesh, but in the notion, I do not deserve to be healthy. There are signals repeated endlessly. Everyone in my family is sick. I will be the same. These thought patterns, once engraved in the subconscious, transmit corrupted information into the blood, like malware in an operating system, and words of purification, if used consistently, will erase that malware and overwrite it with new belief. You do not need to fight illness. You need only stop feeding it with careless declarations. Stop saying what you do not wish to see. Begin speaking what you wish to manifest, with a faith both simple and steadfast. Sit quietly each morning and each evening, place your hand on your chest and gently say, My blood is being renewed. My blood is listening to the voice of light. I am restoring from within. Nothing is too small to be restored. No wound is permanent unless you keep it alive with words. And no bloodstream cannot return to purity if you continually send it signals of clarity, love, and strength. Your words do not merely change mood, they change energy fields. And that field of energy adjusts biochemical reactions, recalibrates hormones, reshapes blood molecules. Modern studies on sound waves, on frequencies and their effect on water, have already shown. Directed sound can alter physical structure, and you are more than 70% water. Imagine then what a single sentence, filled with light, can do. Therefore, do not let your words be mere echoes. Let them become the spring cleansing life within. Speak as if you are the guardian of the river of life. Speak with the responsibility of one carrying within them an entire universe in need of purification. No need to shout, only to be certain. No need for an audience, only to be honest with yourself. And each time you repeat the words of cleansing, envision every drop of blood illuminated from within, as if you were pouring into your body the light of 1,000 suns. This is not fantasy. This is the science of consciousness. It is how you restore the lost link between word, thought, and body. It is how you declare that you will no longer allow your body to be ruled by inherited unconsciousness. You choose purification, you choose restoration, you choose light. And when you do, the bloodstream will respond like a river newly released from its source, clear, strong, and filled with living wisdom. Hidden deep within every vein, every capillary, every ceaseless current of circulation within you, there exists an army that never sleeps. The immune system does not require you to control it every second. It does not ask you to memorize complicated techniques to issue commands. From the moment you were born, it pledged loyalty. It formed a silent covenant with your life, to protect at all costs. But like every army, if it has no commander, it may lose direction. Without the right signals, it may strike the wrong target. And without trust from the one it serves, it may gradually weaken, tire, and collapse from within. You are not merely an observer of the immune system. You are the one who can awaken it, activate it, fortify its strength through words carrying clear intention and a consciousness that knows how to command. When you say, I know my body is being protected, I thank every cell that is fighting for me, you are transmitting a signal to that invisible army that you are present, you are awake, you are not abandoning it. Each white blood cell is not merely matter, they carry intelligence. They receive commands from a level modern medicine cannot yet fully describe. They respond to emotion, to heartbeat, to breath, and especially to signals from the subconscious where words can penetrate and reset the entire operating strategy. One who speaks to their body as though speaking to a beloved child with love, responsibility, and reverence will awaken an immune system entirely different from that of one who lives in fear, doubt, or resignation to fate. In the same environment, exposed to the same virus, one person recovers swiftly while another gradually deteriorates. The difference lies in the connection between mind and immune system, and the only bridge that unites the two shores is active speech. Picture the immune system as a sacred kingdom where every cell is a warrior. If you never enter it, never send messages, never encourage it, the kingdom will still function but without motivation, without faith, and easily vulnerable. Yet if each morning you take a moment to say, "I know there is a loyal army guarding this life. I send them light. I fuel them with my steadfast belief," you are forging a new covenant, a covenant between consciousness and body. And the wonder is this: the immune system responds to gratitude. This is not mysticism. It is a truth proven by research. When people live in gratitude, antibody levels increase, recovery accelerates, and inflammation in the body decreases significantly. Why? Because gratitude activates signals of peace and protection, sending a message throughout the body. We are safe, we are loved, we are living in harmonious order. By contrast, anxiety, resentment, anger all send the opposite signal: we are under threat. Then the immune system shifts into full-scale warfare, but without knowing who the enemy is. And without direction, it may turn on the body itself, triggering autoimmune reactions, disorder, decline, even destruction. This is not the body's fault. It is because the commander has not spoken clear orders. Therefore, instead of focusing solely on food, medicine, or exercise, begin with how you speak to your immune system. Speak to it as you would to your most loyal friend, the one who has silently protected you through countless years without your awareness. Say, "I am sorry if I ever neglected you. From today I awaken with you. We fight together. We recover together. We are one." You cannot pretend with the body. The body hears the true frequency. It does not need flowery language. It needs sincerity. And that sincerity does not need to be loud. It only requires that you look within with full presence, with the trust that blood is flowing, white cells are moving, marrow is producing. The whole is cooperating for you, with you, and through you. The body has never betrayed you. Only you, at times, have forgotten it. But when you return, when you actively speak words of connection, when you command from the deepest place of loving will, the entire immune system awakens from slumber and begins to work with new energy, the energy of trust restored. That is the covenant you can re-establish today. No ritual required, no special condition, only the willingness to step within, meet that silent army, and say, "Together we protect this life, and I know we will succeed." Doubt is not the enemy. It is the gatekeeper. Anyone standing before the threshold of true change, whether in spirit, body, or circumstance, will meet the watchful gaze of doubt. It will ask, "Is this real? Do your words truly have power? Does your body truly hear?" And if you hesitate, the gate closes. But if you understand that doubt does not come to block you, but to test the brightness of your faith, then you will no longer fear it. There is no real faith that has not endured moments of being shaken. There is no command that becomes powerful without first being challenged by temporary silence. This is true of the body, true of the spirit, true of every field of life. When you begin to speak to your blood, when you place your trust in the creative power of words, a part of you will respond with suspicion. That part is not malicious. It only represents the old habit where you have grown too accustomed to believing in circumstances more than in the words you speak. And that is the moment you need a bridge, a crossing, something to keep you from falling into the gap between reason and faith. That bridge is prayer. Not prayer as pleading, but prayer as affirmation spoken from the higher part of you, the part unmoved, unconvinced by temporary fluctuations. When doubt appears, you do not need to argue with it. You do not need to defeat it with logic. You only need to step across to the other side. with a simple but firm word: I choose to believe. Even if my feelings have not yet caught up, even if my circumstances remain unchanged, I still choose to believe. And that word will be like a seed planted in the desert. You may not see the tree grow immediately, but the soil has changed, the field of energy has shifted, and the wonder is this: your body hears faith before you fully feel it. There will be times when, even after practicing, even after speaking the right words, even after living in awakened awareness, results have not yet come. You begin to doubt yourself. And the worst thing you can do then is to return to the old path where you resigned, where you were silent, where you stopped speaking. Do not let that happen. For silence after wounded faith is barren ground. But words, even trembling ones, are still living soil. Remember, doubt is only strong when you are silent. But one affirmation, however small, is enough to make it retreat. A simple sentence: my body is listening. My blood is receiving the command of healing. I continue to believe, is enough to keep the bridge from collapsing. And when you continue, stepping through each day with faith spoken aloud, you will reach a place where doubt has no foothold, not because you have destroyed it, but because you are no longer governed by it. The body does not require you to be perfect in faith. It only requires persistence. It does not demand that you never doubt. It only asks that you not be swept away by that doubt. Each time you continue to speak words of healing, even while storms rage inside, you are sending the most important message to your blood: we keep going. We do not give up. This is when prayer becomes most powerful, not when you already see results, but when you do not yet see anything, when everything still looks the same, when those around you may mock your faith, and you still stand, gentle, steady, speaking to your blood: you are still here. I know. I believe. Continue your mission. In silence, the veins still flow. In doubt, the cells still work. But when one affirmation is sent down, even if only a whisper, the entire system is infused with new light. Faith does not need to be a blazing fire. It only needs not to go out. A flicker is still enough to guide a ship through the night. Doubt is part of the journey, but it is not the destination. Do not remain in it too long. Do not build a house in the fog. See it as a forest you must cross, a suspension bridge you must step across quickly, a sunset before the dawn. And all along the way, let your words be the lantern in your hand, not to light the distance, only enough to see the next step. You have the right to falter, but you also have the right to rise again. And the simplest way to rise is to open your mouth and speak a sentence of will. I choose to believe. For your body does not respond to reasoning, it responds to signals, and words are the clearest signals you have. When doubt appears, do not be silent. Speak, pray, affirm, not to ask for something from outside, but to awaken what has always been ready inside. And when you do this, the gate will open. Faith will no longer be a stranger, but will become breath, pulse, rhythm of life, nourishing every cell, guiding every change. There are moments in the day when the door between the conscious and the subconscious opens widest. These are the moments just before you sink into sleep, and the first moments when you awaken. No noise, no judgment, no distractions from external impulses. This is when your words can penetrate deepest into the inner world. The body is in a state of pure receptivity, unguarded, without resistance. Every thought, every word uttered in those moments becomes a sacred command inscribed upon the bloodstream. Sleep is not merely rest, it is reconstruction. During the night, billions of cells are repaired, discarded, renewed. Blood flows without pause. The heart does not stop beating. The liver, kidneys, and endocrine glands continue their silent service, even when you pay no attention to them. Therefore, if you send forth a conscious command before sleep, the body will take it as guidance throughout the hours of silence. Imagine this. Before closing your eyes, you place your hand upon your chest or simply direct all of your awareness toward the center of life and whisper, "My blood, flow with light, wash away all that is old, recreate with the wisdom of the Creator, awaken with me in a new form." This is not merely speech, it is covenant, an agreement between your consciousness and the life flowing within you. And throughout sleep, that covenant works. Like invisible laborers, the cells receive that command as a blueprint to follow. Blood becomes the messenger carrying the decree of renewal throughout the kingdom of the body. No need for you to control. No need for you to remain awake. Only the assurance that you have sent the right command. Then comes morning, when you open your eyes, when the world is still hushed in the mist of dawn, when consciousness has not yet been swept away by news, responsibilities, and habits. This is the time you can reset the inner program. Do not rush to grab your phone. Do not rush into the to-do list. Take the first few minutes to reaffirm your sovereignty over your body. Let the first words you speak not be complaint, but a summons of vitality. I live. I am healthy. My blood is radiant. Every cell of mine is hearing the command of healing. These seemingly simple sentences will be